Okay, welcome to my channel. This is probably the first serious video I'm making. So about me, my name's Matthew, and I live in China, in Beijing. My job is I train English language teachers to teach better, and I enjoy spending a significant amount of my free time learning languages. And I've come to peace with the fact that I'm not learning languages to go and speak to people. I'm not learning languages to go and talk to people online. I enjoy using the languages, speaking them to people when the opportunity arises, but I'm not going out of my way to use it to speak to anyone. I have plans in the future to visit those countries on holiday or like a 2, 3 week stay and improve my oral ability, or maybe another stage in my life, work on the speaking a bit more. But I'm really just enjoying using the languages I'm learning and studying to consume reading materials, spoken, listening materials, and that's okay for me. I put myself forward I put myself out there with trying to make lots of friends over the years and language exchanges and working on italki to get teachers and make sure that speaking was in the forefront of what I was doing. I do practice something like speaking in this part of my own language learning routine, but I'm not going out of my way and working with another person. Um, in early stages of language learning, I'm just focused on um, getting that inside me, the um, vocabulary, the grammar, understanding what I'm hearing and reading in real time quickly. And once that's all established, I can focus on the speaking later. But the speaking's not my main concern. Languages are amazing and awesome to me, and for me, it's okay if some of them I never speak them. I just learn them, know about them, and read and listen, and that's okay. That's my thing. That's what I want to do with my time. And that's probably not what you want. But then again, you might not have studied as many languages as me, and uh, you might think you just want to speak, and that's fine. You might change your mind in 5 years. I mean, I wouldn't have agreed with myself now 5 years ago, but that's fine. Okay, so so a bit about my language learning journey up to the present. So, I was a teenager, ended up taking French in school in the States, and it's just how it happened. And I did all right with those lessons because it was just learning vocabulary, basically. Continued on the next year. I was really interested that my French teacher could also speak Spanish, and she said learning a third language after a second language was easier. So I started taking Spanish classes, and then thought, oh, the next one is German. So I started taking German as well when I got to university, and I added on Russian in university, and I was trying to learn Mandarin Chinese as well. But if you think about it, back then, I wasn't even at the intermediate level, like a true intermediate level with any of those languages. At that time, I was still really learning them. Um, and people would always, wow, so many, and really wasn't that many, but it was very difficult to just run into a person who was actively trying to learn as many as I was trying to learn. The thing was, is I never developed a stable way to maintain or use them at all times. It always seemed like at any given point, all my languages felt really bad. Like the golden days were behind me. The day when I was at my peak for a particular language was always in the past. And how could I ever get all of them back up to where they were? But at the same time, then I just kept on adding a language or dabbling in a language after that. And yeah, that went on for up until age 31, 32. So I'm 33 now. So every year would have some kind of burst of studying, and then I'd give up after a while. And maybe 3 times I've tried something where I've tried maintaining and studying um, over 10 languages for about a month, something like 15 minutes a day or 30 minutes a day, and then I kept doing it all wrong. That was not working for me, and it was not stable. um, I think I found something by now that works well for me, and it involves unplugging from social media and not scrolling around on YouTube and watching videos like this. I kept watching videos like this where you're listening to somebody who you felt was more successful with language learning than you. So if you're watching this, I don't know, you might feel like, hey, this guy might have something about language learning that I'd like to know. And then you watch that video, but that 10 minutes could have been 10 minutes you were spending studying a language. I know 10 minutes isn't that much, but then again, like a lot of the languages I'm studying right now, I just spend 15 minutes a day, and I've been learning Thai, for example, 15 minutes a day, which is nothing. But after 2 months, if I go back and look at all the content I've covered, it's quite a bit of content, and it's not all active. It's kind of there in some shape in my mind. But how long would it take to activate that or really start using it? I don't think it would take that long. So, uh, so I feel that if you're going, if your goal is to learn languages and many languages, more than 10 languages, you probably need to figure out a system that works well with you, for you, with time, and you start managing time well for you. And the way it works for you is probably going to change every so often. Anyways, the ideas that I have right now, what I've been doing for the last month and a half, I've taken ideas from several different people on YouTube. Um, Alexander Arguelles, I followed a spreadsheet that he once uploaded, because everyone asked him to upload to howtolearnanylanguage.com. And that was back when I was a teenager, probably. No, not a teenager, but it was something like 2010, something like that. It might have been earlier. It was a long time ago. And it just showed the balance of what kinds of how many hours of activities for which languages, which groups of languages, so he could balance himself out with his mental energies over time. Because, um, yeah, don't think that you do a full body workout in one day. You have to, you might have to do a split routine there. So I did something like that with Excel online, and I made it to where you had to scroll to the left and you add notes for a day, and then you scroll it to the left, and then the next day scroll it to the left next day. I did that for a month, a few bursts of studying for a month, and then gave up on that. It was not useful for me. But unplugging for me and withdrawing from YouTube and everything and scrolling online pointlessly. And I used an idea from Rob McPherson, I think that's his name, where he likes to track activities. So, for example, German here. Yeah, so different activities, you put it in divisible chunks on a squared sheet, and then you highlight them, fill them in as you go. Then you can see progress. Um, Also, I want to balance the languages I have um, right there. So that's so far. So here, there's another. I started. I started here. This was I was trying to build up the routine. Yeah, this one is a bit clearer. So each blue mark means I sat down for at least 15 minutes. Um, a pen mark, like a dot, means 15 minutes, and an L means listening only, like an audiobook. So I've been at this for over a month and a half, and I know I've got a routine down that will work, and I don't feel exhausted. And today I'm not going to be able to hit all those languages, and I feel okay with that. Before I thought it was, if you get a routine started, it takes several weeks to build up a habit, and if it's like the fourth day you don't do it, then it feels like, how are you going to get back and build up the momentum? So I've got the momentum now, and I feel good about what I'm doing, my study habits, and yeah. So each language also, so there's a big overview of what I'm spending my time with, and the goal is by next year, maybe like if I'm spending about 5 or 6 hours a day languages, then that means feasibly I could go up to 25 or 30 languages if we're thinking about decades of my life. If I can spend that much time a day consistently, not every day for my life, but something like 9 out of 10 days of my life, then um, yeah. So let's see. Then each language has its own list of activities, things I do for that day, and this is not the right paper to, and the Chinese writing there is so bad though. But I also have a page. So each language has. So basically, each language has an activity tracking sheet. Got the idea from Rog McPherson, and so an activity tracking sheet. I'll go back to German. German has the most variety there. All right, so activity tracking sheet, and then what I do each day. Sometimes it's pretty boring if I'm just listening to audiobooks, and for example, some languages where I'm practicing the writing at the moment, it has the writing practice, like copying out dialogues, like it has that afterwards. And I've got it all in one folder right here. I've got the textbooks that I'm using, I've got them all scanned so that if I find myself on the road, I've got my iPad, I've got the audio on my phone. I've only had to do that once though, where I'm completely on the road for the day. I still got 5.5 hours done. I've got a stack of books here. The stack of books they look pretty bad. They're all I scanned them years ago, and I just had them printed here in China. So my original library is in the States. There's no getting there in time or anytime soon. Yeah. So 15 minutes. Stop here. It's just a little introduction about me and a bit about my language learning journey and what you might be able to hear from me in future videos. All right, next video.